Welcome to the North Idaho Experience, a podcast of, by, and for the people of North Idaho and those who are North Idaho curious. These are the stories of the incredible people and businesses that call North Idaho home. If you are thinking about making North Idaho your home, give our real estate team a call, text, or email, info@nidexperience.com. Aaron Sierra Ranch Chili, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Glad to be here.
Good to have you. And finally, he's a large man, but the camera angle here makes people in that seat look small, so he's normal size today.
I'm actually sitting 4 feet in front of him. So
It turns out that Seth is a large man as well. We had this conversation earlier. You may not realize it, but big guy here. Big guy.
Thanks.
this is how they filmed Lord of the Rings, though. Okay,
You
they
are-
put people way
You
ahead.
are right.
Right.
I didn't realize how important it is.
Gimli was actually the tallest guy out of the what is the Fellowship?
Is that a fact?
Yeah.
No
And
way.
Yeah, he's a big dude, and yet he's this little squatty dude. I mean, he's always shot like 12 feet in the back. So
That's awesome.
here I am, sitting 4 feet closer than both of you.
You look enormous, Dave.
All right.
Oh, man. So we have chili samples today, too, so make sure to stick around for that. Is there something really spicy?
Actually, we keep it mild.
Okay. I prefer mild. Dave likes spicy.
Yeah.
You're Mexican, right?
Ish. So that's funny because when Southern California, man, there's a lot of spice down there. There's a lot of diversity in food and everything else.
Yep.
And then I remember being up here, and guys were passing around at the PD. What are they? Red Hot? No, the chili.
Tamales?
Cheetos.
Oh, Cheetos. Oh, yeah.
Red Hot Cheetos, and they were like, "Dude, these are so hot." And I'm like, really?
Come on.
There's not a lot of spice up here.
No, there's not. It's rather
you should,
vanilla.
I think you should have a really spicy chili.
I couldn't sell it. In North Idaho, I couldn't. I'll tell you, when I started competing in Arizona, what I serve here, it doesn't even register on the heat scale for Arizona. In Arizona, I was commonly told I needed to pick up the heat. Very rarely did somebody say it was too hot. Here, I have people that have come by and one lady, my lips are burning. And, lady, you're not supposed to put it on your lips.
What do I do?
But North Idaho, the palate is very mild. So we're really shooting for flavor. We have a lot of chilies packed in the chili, 6 different peppers. But with that said, we got to keep it mild, or else we would not sell it to this crowd.
Okay.
Yeah. In fact, I think a lot of the transplants are saving us because they're looking for something a little bit edgier, and at least we're a little bit out there. But no, we're not trying to win a heat contest.
Okay, so real quick, do you have a storefront? I'm sure we'll get into it, or anything else where people can go, or is it all online, or what?
Yeah, so there's 3 parts of the business.
Okay.
We are set up at the Silver Lake Mall. We have a food court location there. And we're a chili stand is really what we are. We do an all-meat chili, one kind of chili, and then we do a bunch of different dishes. I call it Southwest Comfort Food that we prepare with that chili. So we do a chili mac, for instance. We do, of course, our version of a chili dog. And so everything with the chili in some way, but it's one type of chili, and that's what you'll be having later.
Are you part of the Mac and Cheese Festival?
I am, actually.
There we
Yes,
go.
yes. I was just looking at that right now. They want me to be prepared to serve 1,000 samples. So
Heck yeah.
we're looking forward to that.
That's a cool event, and I'd love to try the mac and cheese chiller, and cheese chili.
We're going to be partnered up with Mix It Up. We're actually doing something different for them. We have a queso that we prepare. So we use the chili. We make our own queso in-house with 4 cheeses. Bro. And we're going to do it's going to be a queso mac is what we're calling it. So yeah, looking forward to that one.
I hope you're not.
When's the date?
You gotta
When
save
is
your
this again?
Carbs up for that.
Oh, it's the 18th
Of
January.
Oh, that's coming up.
Dude, that better be a refeed day.
Yeah. Dave's on very strict, very strict macros right now.
My wife body shames me.
She does
She's
daily.
so mad that I said that on here.
Yeah.
Gotta be careful too of those carb dishes. You just they're addicting.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can, so that's the mall that Black Sheep is in, by the way, if you
That's
are not
right.
familiar with that mall.
Right across
guys
from our
are Hanley,
brokerage.
Hanley and 95, basically.
That's right.
Yeah. Right.
So
across from our
we're in the food court there, and then the other part of the business is we sell our spices online and to restaurants. So if you want to produce our chili, we're pretty transparent about what goes into it. You buy our spices, and you can make it at home. And then events are how we got started, and that's really still our bread and butter.
I think, are you guys coming to our ice skating event?
We are.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that.
Yes.
That'll be cool.
Yes.
You got a couple ice skating events.
Yep.
You got a pot of chili coming from us. We're looking forward to it.
Awesome.
Yeah, and
Thank
if you
you.
don't know, if you're listening and you're either active or former first responder or veteran, or one of our previous clients or active clients, we do 2 free ice skating events a year, and now we know we're going to have chili there as well. I think we're doing January 8th is going to be for first responders. It'll be a Wednesday, and all evening you can come down. It's free to come in. We're going to have some awesome vendors there, obviously food and everything like that. So it'll be badge ID entry only. We've had issues with people saying that they were first responders, and that is an event that exclusively is for them. However, on the 15th of January, we'll be doing it again, and that's going to be a client appreciation event. So if you have worked with us before or have reached out to us, we'd love to see you there. Bring your family down. It's actually a really good night. And chili's going to spice it up this year.
I am deeply sad to say that I think this is going to air after that. So
is it?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. So next year, if you missed it,
snooze, you lose. I don't know.
Great venue, though. Great event.
Yeah, it was so fun last year. Man, we had so many people coming out. It's cool for the first responders because we did a very specific first responder night. And you know, if you're from that world, you know you don't like being out in public with large crowds. Like that's just the game. Everybody's like that. So when you have an event like that, it's you know, we have people running security. Coeur d'Alene PD is there in uniform hanging out. So it's safe.
County Sheriff is there too.
It's safe for the families to come down and just let loose a little bit, have some free ice skating, let the kids run around, and now we have free chili this year. That's freaking awesome.
And for all the folks that aren't familiar with the area, I mean, what a beautiful venue. It's one of those things that even just to go down there and check it out, to see everybody having a good time, it's an amazing place.
Yeah. You sit out there and you're like, you know, you look out towards the resort and all the Christmas lights are out. It's just freaking unbelievable.
Well, that's the neat thing. So many people that come up here, you know, and chili's like my favorite winter food, by the way. Okay. So we're gonna have to talk.
We're gonna be friends.
We're gonna be friends for
and
sure.
That's like an easy way for us to get lunch. Man. We can pop
100%.
right over there. Yes.
I will go over there now. It's right across the street. But you know, it's cool thing about this community is that, you know, a lot of people that move up, they go, oh man, it snows. Oh, winter. Like, what do you do? Everybody has this belief that you just sit in your house and you don't do anything. But it's neat how the community transforms like that. I mean, you got the entire park that now is a big ice skating rink, right? There's still people outdoors. So that outdoor lifestyle still exists all the way through the winter.
Yeah, and even if you're not like an outdoorsy person, that you know, you go do the cruises are constantly pumping out down by the resort. They've got the Santa Cruz, Eagle watching right now. I don't even know what else, but it's cool. There's a lot to do, and I definitely credit the resort with a lot of that.
Yeah,
you know, they cause some aches and pains in town too, but they do a lot of good things. So I agree with you.
So Aaron, talk to us about how did you get into like chili in general? Like, did you own a restaurant? Is this something you just kind of fell upon? Is this like a passion? How did you turn into just chili?
Yeah,
I'm laughing because I know what you used to do, and it's like not even remotely related.
I want to know. I don't know these things.
So I'll give you the Reader's Digest version. I guess these days we say TLDR, but
wait, what? What's that mean? Is that the kids write that? TL.
Oh, too long, did not read. Yeah, that's it.
Oh.
So my age, we would say Reader's Digest version.
Yeah, no, I know that.
Next generation, they have no clue what you're talking about. Yeah,
so
TLDR.
I got to say TLDR.
I didn't know what TLDR. You can say Reader's Digest. I know what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah, well, okay. We need some, we got some kids here that'd be like, Reader's Digest. But no, the long and short of it is, I mean, I'm a foodie, as you can tell, and I used to live in Phoenix. There was a place I'd go to, and I would drive across town. It was our ritual, you know, a couple times a month. Take the kids down, meet the parents down there. We drive 45 minutes each way, so an hour and a half on the road. Go there for chili and a salad. And at the time, I was working on barbecue. I wanted to open a barbecue restaurant, doing a lot of pit smoking. And after about a year and a half, I went in there one day, and the chili was different. I said, well, you know, you guys change ownership or what? They go, no, we just changed the chili recipe. Never went back again. The place was closed in 6 months. And wow! I set out to make a chili I'd drive across town for. That's the actual story. And that's
a great logo or motto, by the way.
I
chili you
drive
across town
I could see that. So I worked up probably about 14 batches to get to where I'm at now. Everybody loved it. Friends were asking, you know, could I buy a bowl? Could I buy a pot? So I started competing. Never lost a contest. 75 people or so, you know, contestants, community contest. And so went back to my career, or never left my career, really. Cybersecurity is where I came from.
See the relation there?
Cybersecurity is chili.
Totally.
No, it was put the recipe on the shelf, walked away. You know, life unfolded, raised the kids, did the career thing. We lived in California, moved up here. I was taking a little pause from my career. One of my sons wanted to make some money, so we went to the farmer's market and said, we'll see how the chili does. And, the community was very receptive. We had a lot of great feedback. We did some great events. And I got to say, it's been fun as a business owner, and I'm sure you've experienced it too, just being a part of the community. I mean, being a business owner gets you out there in a way that frankly, before, going out for dinner and just going to a movie or whatever is not the same. It immerses you in the community. And so it was just such a great experience to be doing events like Timber Days, Paul Bunyan Days, where these towns all show up, thousands of people over a weekend. And so that was just such a great thrill that we decided to set up shop and open up a brick and mortar to give us a commercial kitchen. That's what got us into the mall. And so here we are today.
Hey, hunters and fellow meat eaters, do you want 100% success rate of putting meat in your freezer this year? Then buy beef from Acme Acres. It's pasture raised, grass fed, grass finished, no hormones, no antibiotics, just delicious, clean, all American beef raised right here in North Idaho. Order right off the website or give them a call to get going on your custom cut sheet. And if you buy a whole beef, you get a free freezer. Acme Acres.
It's kind of a lost practice for a lot of these towns to have events like that where people go and they want to spend time there, right? I mean, we talk about California all the time. It's like you spend all your time and money going to be entertained, whether it's malls, whether it's, these massive, permanent events and everything else. But these hometown get-togethers where people are willing to come out. Small businesses thrive up here.
Yeah.
We talk about it. You just said community, and me and him started smiling at each other because it really is. There's a sense up here where people come and they love to support the chili guy.
Yeah.
Like, that's a cool thing. People will literally come down to the farmer's market to support the chili guy.
Yep.
So that's really cool to see how that happens.
And there are so many amazing businesses in this town, or this area, I guess. I keep running into them. That's one of the benefits. That's why we love doing this podcast, honestly.
Right.
It's like the connections we make, and we get to meet these people, and sometimes we help their business, and sometimes there's all of this synergy going on, connecting people, and I think that is the beauty of a small town. Like, I'm wearing my G9 Defense. That's a ammunition manufacturer in Post Falls. Okay. We just had them on the podcast. They make the absolute cutting-edge self-defense rounds out there. Just check them out. There's a little plug. But that's just another example, constantly running into this. And I don't know if other areas are like that or not. I don't know if it's exclusive to North Idaho. It feels like it to me. I've lived in 8 different states and I've never experienced it. Not sure. Maybe you can speak on that.
Yeah, to me, it's very clear there is something unique and special here. And I think the key thing is for if you're not from here, and I'll say for myself, coming out of San Jose and Phoenix and in Southern California, embrace it. I mean, there's something. It's one of those things where you kind of get what you put into it. But certainly we see it, like you're saying, just the people that come out to support you. They're excited about what you have. They're excited about the growth in the community, right. and they want to see you succeed. It's I could say, and without I don't want to speak down about some of the other places I've lived. It's just different here.
Yeah.
It is absolutely different here. So it's very special in that way.
Yeah, I agree. I just got to thinking, so I wonder if our buddy Ron Smith has ever come in for your chili. You ever met a guy named Ron? He's Hawaiian, but he's got the whitest name possible. He's
the name
foodie.
sounds familiar, but I don't know.
We had him on here, and he has not lived in town that long. I don't know, 6 months maybe.
Yeah.
And he knows every hole in the wall restaurant.
If we can introduce him to something new, I'd be really excited.
So stoked. I got excited.
Bring him down.
I wondered if you knew him by name or not, but he'll listen to this and he'll go try it if he hasn't already.
All right.
But yeah, he's like the guy. He's a former chef too, so like he knows his business. But man, he has introduced me to some amazing restaurants that I just would never have known about.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, do you run into that issue being in the mall, like visibility? Are you not as visible there?
It's absolutely an issue. I think one of the problems for us too is that you might be looking for pizza and you're gonna Google some pizza restaurants or burger joints or whatever. People just aren't generally Googling for chili.
Yeah.
Where's my local chili stand? And we also don't really have a genre. I refer to us as Southwestern comfort food, because it's kind of that spin on a lot of Mexican flavors, but American dishes, sloppy joes, something we call chili melt. But the point is it's its own thing, and so that's been one of our biggest problems is helping.
Food truck. What about food truck?
Oh,
Are they a pain in the ass? I don't know anything about the business, but I have. The first time I saw it, the food truck court is what I'm thinking about. I saw one in Bend, Oregon, and that was the first time I'd ever seen such a thing. And it's basically a bunch of food trucks that are pretty permanently stationed there, and then a central pavilion, with a bathroom, and sometimes they're heated. There's one going in on Sherman right now. There's the one up on Prairie. There's one on 41, and then there's one going in on Spokane Street next to the river in Post Falls. Like, they're popping up everywhere up here, and I freaking love them because you can take the kids there, and everybody can go get whatever they want. It's amazing.
Yeah, and you're asking me, have I considered it?
Yeah.
Way back in the barbecue days I was telling you about, I was actually looking at just doing a food truck out in Quartzsite, Arizona, which if for those who don't know it, it balloons to millions of visitors in a year and then goes back down to a population of 1,500. So, so I was really hip to that and saw it as a great possibility. I'll tell you what, though, I don't want to brave the winters in a food truck out here. There's a whole lot of, bringing stuff in, just kind of trying to stay stocked and dealing with the ice and everything else. I like our cozy little mall.
Yeah.
Really,
Good point.
Honestly, in the winter, I really love it.
Yeah. You said you do venues and stuff like that, so you're coming to ours. So you have the ability to be mobile if you need to be, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
You know what we should do? We've talked about this, is we want to get Heat Praxia, rent their sauna, and take it down to Honeysuckle Beach and do a day down there. Why not have chili?
I'm seeing where you're going with this.
You're seeing where I'm going with this, dude. So, you go cold plunge, come into the sauna, get some chili. I'm all about this.
We always find a way to circle this back to cold plunging somehow.
And
you just did it. Nicely done, Dave. Yeah, that's something we love doing in the wintertime. You have to join us sometime.
I'm going to have to. I've been told about the Heat Praxia. I'm glad to know they have a new home.
Yes.
I know they're out on Sherman previously. And it's on my bucket list, the cold plunge.
Oh, we go as a group every Sunday at 8 a.m. at Honeysuckle Beach. So
yeah,
you're welcome to join us.
I'll be thinking about it.
We got a bunch of people.
Sauna there.
That's a bunch of people that go every Sunday at 8 o'clock, and that's actually a really good time. So other than that, I'm there every morning at 6:30. And are you still cold dipping down here?
Occasionally, I'm kind of hit or miss. Yeah.
He used to bathe in the river, so somebody might have called him.
I bathed in the river all summer long after jiu-jitsu. I did. Yeah, it's true. It is illegal, by the way.
Is it really?
Yeah, to bathe in the river for hygiene purposes. I think it's to keep homeless people out.
It's the way you tell that story. You took a dip in the river.
Yeah.
The bench guy is bathing in the river. I love this.
I had biodegradable soap, so calm down. It's all good.
That's funny.
Yeah, it doesn't really work when you're swimming around with floating goose shit everywhere and you're bathing. You're like, am I really getting clean here? I don't know.
Yeah,
it's a good way to connect with nature.
It's a lot of fun, and you know what? It is actually pretty cool. We went this Sunday. Usually, we have a group of 8 to 10 people that go, and we'll usually go about 30 minutes ahead of time, do a little run with some burpees, just kind of get a little workout in early morning. But this was one of the Sundays. It's not mandatory, by the way. It's not mandatory. Voluntary. But this is one of the Sundays that we went. People ask me why I cold dip. This is why. We went, and it was just Seth and I this week. Nobody showed up, which is rare. Usually we have...
Almost always, yeah.
Yeah, we've had up to 15.
It was really romantic,
people.
I got to say.
Romantic, thank you. But it was actually kind of cool because people ask me, why do you cold dip? And I'm like, you know what? I do it because other people aren't willing to do it all the time, right? Like, it's one of those things where I almost get excited when other people don't show up because I know somebody was like, I'm not going today. And I'm like, I did it. I did it where other people didn't want to go. This isn't a diss on anybody that goes with us, but it's the truth. Like, it's one of those things where I know it's hard.
I'll say it. The inner bitch won out on them.
Yeah.
And when mine wins out sometimes too. I'm gonna be honest.
For sure.
When it doesn't win out, I'm like really stoked about myself. Like,
right.
All right, I conquered my inner bitch today.
Like when it's negative 25 and nobody's willing to go with you and you're like, I'm still going. I'm cutting a hole in the ice and I'm getting in. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I dig it. It's a mental thing.
I'm impressed because comfort is a poison and it's addictive. And
man, that is the truth.
And
yes.
and And as much as I love the idea, and I will do it at some point, I got to do it, especially after all this.
Oh yeah.
But that moment of discomfort.
Yeah,
the extreme discomfort.
And it never
right?
gets better, right? You get a little better mentally of being able to conquer it, but it hurts every single time.
Does it really?
You know,
Okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering.
You hit the nuts and it's like, I feel that. But really for me, when you hit the chest area and the upper back, once you get to your chin line, then you're in all the way and you're like, got to control that breathing, got to bring the bring the heart rate back down. And we don't like, you'll see tomorrow morning, you're going to see the polar plunge people. They run out there and they jump in and then they run back out. Like, no, we don't fucking play that. We walk out and you show no emotion. You show emotion.
That's what I was going to ask you. You slow walk it out there.
Slow walk up in there. You dip in. You control your breathing. You stay chill. We sit in. We were in there for eight or 9 minutes on Sunday because we were just talking. Usually about 5 when it's this cold. The water temp's like 39 right now.
Dude, you go in a male and you come out a female.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, you are just sucked in.
Things invert.
I don't even know if this is appropriate for me to tell, but I called Seth the other day and I'm like,
Yes.
dude, because I started taking testosterone a couple months ago.
Okay.
I've been trying not to. I ended up getting on testosterone. I'm sorry. I'm like, is this on air? Can we talk about this?
Yes, please tell it.
No, so so I get home after cold dipping, right? And it was cold. I was by myself. And I get home and he had told me, he goes, hey bro, he goes, when you start taking testosterone, he's like, your nuts just shrink up. And I'm like, okay. So I'm constantly checking. I'm like, what's going to happen here? Dude, I got home from cold dipping, lost my left nut. It was gone. It was gone. I got in the shower. I'm not kidding you. I started freaking out. I'm in there and I'm like, oh my God, it's gone. There was clearly only one. I don't even know where it went. It came back, but it was just so cold that it just disappeared completely. I don't even know where it went, but I for sure lost it. And I was freaking out. I'm like, is this what he's talking about? Like, is this how?
Oh my gosh. Your body
it did.
Like,
it was
bro,
gone.
I'm not coming out.
It was completely gone. It was the weirdest feeling ever.
I'm imagining that some viewer's going to come in and stop by for some chili.
Yeah.
And say, so, you know, I can only imagine where the conversation goes as they're trying to pick up on this and hanging on our every word. But
like
educational.
We've found that being our true, authentic selves, the right people find us, right? And when we meet in person, it's like immediate bond, right? I love it. I go show a house, somebody that finds us on YouTube and they call, we're going through the home buying process and I go show a house and like they drop the first F-bomb, and I'm like, I'll play cool, They drop the first F-bomb, they look at me and I'm like, oh yeah, it's on. Like, we cool. And then it's on from there, man. Like, we're showing houses, we're talking shit the whole time, having a good time. That is what it's all about. Like, the right people will find you.
I like it. And I see it in chatting with you before. I'll tell anybody watching, these guys are genuine.
Thank you.
You can't make this up.
Well, you know what's cool is because we talk about all the time, dude, real estate sucks. Like, it's a tough job. You have to be good at it. You have to be able to know the job, how to communicate, how to be organized, have attention to detail, negotiate. But it's like this type of relationship that we're looking for with clients whenever we meet people, right? Like somebody you can sit down, have a bowl of chili and a beer with, and have a good time with, because those are the people that we want to see come to this community. Not somebody that comes up that's arrogant, that's all about themselves, that brings their politics with them, that brings this lack of community and involvement and everything else. We don't want that.
Yeah.
So it's very hard because this has actually been an outlet for us to meet people like you that we can go, okay, like we have a commonality here to where, and then that grows, right? Like we want to support your chili business and we get people that want to support us in real estate. And that's cool.
Yeah.
That's genuine and that lasts. That's relational. It's not transactional. And we have a lot of fun with that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, we have, my wife and I, just through over the decades, we have some realtor friends that are now just close friends. And, we don't use them anymore because we've left the area, but we're still in touch and still look forward to seeing them. And my reason for bringing that up is if you're not feeling that kind of connection with your realtor, find another realtor.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing more personal than buying a home.
Dude.
I don't know.
Right.
We've shared some
So let me
personal
ask you, what's
stuff.
their names? What's their names? Your agents?
Rachel, Lynn, and I cannot even. You put me on the spot.
I tease you on
These
this.
are all out of. The funny one, the name that I'm trying to recall.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I just blanked.
And see, I totally tease you on that because you would live up here now, so you don't see him all the time. But I like to ask people that question. Karen, there we go.
Oh God,
She
if you
probably
watch
loves
this,
that.
Karen, forgive me. I love you. You know it. That
But see,
is
that's
horrible.
cool
How did
because
I blank on that?
You actually remember them, right? You have their names. And that's something that I love asking people when I have somebody, I'm like, hey, they start talking to me about, real estate and everything else. And I ask them like, hey, what was, you're using me today, but I didn't sell you your house. Who is your agent? And they're like, oh, I can't remember their name. I'm like, see, that's what I don't want.
Yeah.
I don't want somebody that I've worked with for somebody to ask them, hey, who is your agent? And they go, oh gosh, who's that bald guy on that thing? Like, I want to be like, oh, it's Dave Fowler. Yeah, that's it. So that's pretty cool, but I think you're right. And I think it's not just real estate, it's all the things that we do. Like, I want to be able to walk in and get chili and say, hey, Aaron, like, I know that you're there. I know who you are. And that's what's neat about North Idaho is if you have those relationships with people, man, it's such a cool environment to walk into places. It feels like Cheers.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, and it's like, man, we say this all the time, buy local. If you show up and we're going to hang out and you bring a Starbucks cup, like, that's not cool, man.
Yep, you leave it outside.
And you might know the barista there, sure, but you don't know the owner, right? You go down to Life Coffee downtown and you meet Dave Miller, the owner, and like, he will talk to you. He's a great human being. There, you know the owner. That's what it's about.
Or Michelle at Best Life or Cassie at Anchor.
Oh, yeah. Totally, right?
It's awesome.
Like, that's what it's all about.
You know, I will tell you, actually, going back to just those relationships, in all of those cases, they found the house that I didn't even know was going to be the house. In one of the cases, Lynn, she said, she goes, I'll show you the place you want to see, only on the condition that you see the place I think you need to see. And we bought that place.
Awesome.
And so when you have somebody that knows you like that, that they're picturing what you and your family are going to be doing in that home based on how you've shared your life story with them and what have you. I mean, that's it's priceless. And then I think about, especially in a market like this, all of the homes I'm sure you look at and take people to see. It's not, you don't just find the first one and it's yours. You need a partner in that relationship.
Yeah.
So
For sure.
Huge advocate of that.
Yeah, it makes a big difference.
So I got some chili questions. Can we go back to chili here?
Sure.
Yeah.
Like
All right.
chili.
So in terms of heat, so first of all, what chilies do you use currently in your mix?
Yeah, the primary chili pepper we use is a chipotle.
Okay.
So it's a smoked jalapeno, and
Is that what a chipotle is?
yeah, and you
shit.
could literally have a spoonful of that, and you know, like you would think a jalapeno is going to be pretty hot.
Yeah.
Again, we try to keep it mild. We're going for the flavor. We use some New Mexico chilies, California chilies. We use a crushed red pepper, and you know, off the top of my head, I can't think of the variety, but it's very fruity. If you try it, it's what we use for some heat. We use cayenne to adjust the heat, and then we use green chilies. So,
Do
which
these
are
come
just very mild.
Are you getting this in a powder form or is it in like fresh?
Powder form.
Okay.
You know, fun fact, I've gone to multiple producers and said, here's my recipe, and you know, hoping that they can just co-pack it for me, and nobody's ever been able to reproduce it. So all my chilies come from different sources, and if I didn't do that, it would be just a different dish, believe it or not. And then the other thing that we do is when you get into chilies, there's, you know, 3 grades. You have just the fruit, just kind of the outer fruit. You've got the fruit with the seed, and then you got the fruit with the seed and the stem. And when you start getting into the stem, you get a more bitter product. When you start grinding seeds, you get a more bitter product. So what we do is just the ground fruit. So
I love talking to people that are experts in their field because
Right.
I've never called a pepper a fruit.
yeah, and if you get, I mean, I almost wish I had chilies here to try, but our Chipotle,
I don't.
you taste the fruitiness of it, and we'll do that. You know, come by sometime.
All
I'd
right.
love to show you
Yeah.
that. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's and if you start cooking with chilies, I'd say if you're not just stopping and just tasting the chili by itself, you're doing yourself a disservice because they all have a very distinct flavor. Some sweeter, some bitter. You know,
Oh my gosh, I had no
more
idea.
or less heat. So yeah.
So what is in terms of, you've made hot chili before too, right?
Yeah, and really the big difference there is I used to use just a fresh jalapeno, and I would adjust heat with the jalapeno and with cayenne. Here, I go out of my way for that very mild chipotle that
Right.
we use.
But if you wanted to make it really hot, because I'm always interested in burning somebody's face off if I ever get a chance to make chili.
Yeah.
Every now and then there's some sort of like, oh, bring chili. And I'm like, how do I make this terrible?
Let's
So if
go.
I really want to make hot chili, is it just more jalapenos? Is it a certain chili I should
I mean,
throw
there
in there?
are hotter. I mean, you could go, you know, the scorpion peppers and the ghost peppers and all that. I do it for flavor. I that's not, you know.
I wanna hurt Seth.
My
No.
my youngest, yeah, he was really into his what was it, the ghost pepper chip challenge?
Oh, yeah.
You know what?
I remember
He
that,
used
yep.
to spend $20 on you know, some potato chips that he couldn't eat.
Yeah.
You know. And no, I'm not into that.
Oh man, but we used to do that at the fire department all the time. My buddy Grant, who I told you is Ivan, just reincarnated, or vice versa. They're identical. Just same people, different place. But Grant and I, every time that there was something hot that would show up at the station, we'd be like, "Oh, let's try this." And I remember there's this Mad Dog 457 hot sauce. That is the hottest stuff I've ever tried in my life. I remember Grant got a little teaspoon and he poured some on there and just took it. And he can handle some heat. He's the guy that could do the whole chip, right? Like, and he can do it. And he was losing it. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So I put probably a little dime and I tried it. Oh man, we were like,
not even fun.
Eating ice. I mean, I was in the shower. I accidentally went to the bathroom and then that was on fire too. Like, I mean, it was just, it was the worst. Oh,
I love everything about this story.
Incredible.
Yeah, we did the same thing in the police station I worked at. We got some ghost peppers. I know, funny. Yeah, and we're in the kitchen. I had a gas mask on. I'm cutting up this ghost pepper powder and like, oh, dude, it was just awesome. And I think we put it on popcorn. But yeah, we did the ghost pepper challenge on that too.
I mean,
I did not win.
This is why if there's a delay,
I don't handle that well. Yeah, I do not handle heat well.
It's never good to do that and then get a call.
This is giving me the flashbacks to all the times my son would say, "Come on, Dad. I'm like, I'm not going to eat your $20 chip just so that you could watch me."
You're a real man if you eat it.
Yeah,
like, no,
right.
You're just dumb.
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah.
That's why, IQ when you go into a fire station or a police station goes down just a little bit. Yeah. Out on patrol, you're good, but back at the station, it starts to dive.
Fair enough.
Did you ever see the guys like take smoke a ghost pepper?
No,
it almost killed him. Like, there's video. Don't try it, kids. There's video. This guy. We'd spent many a night on a deployment, to a riot, and you're not doing anything, so you're watching crap on YouTube, like this. And this guy, Catfish Cooley. You ever heard of Catfish Cooley? Oh, he's some retard from down south that does dumb shit. Anyway, he smoked a ghost pepper one time out of like a bong or something, and it like almost killed him. Yeah.
Holy
the
smokes.
best line from that, actually, this line sticks with me. Right after he smoked it, he said, "It's like the devil came in my mouth." And I was like, God, that's very descriptive. And like,
wow.
I get that.
Wow.
I get that. Yeah, so there you go.
Rough.
There you go, kids.
Somebody saw that, like my son said, "I gotta try it."
You're gonna fucking kill yourself.
Well, do you remember like the LA Beast? Do you remember watching that guy?
No.
He's the guy that would like grab a cactus and just eat a cactus, and he's like screaming all the way through it, or he would drink, like just some absurd amount of milk, or he would, he'd do all these crazy things.
It sounds like the boy, your boy, Liver King.
Dude, I'm telling you, we're gonna get him on here sometime.
Liver King?
It's gonna stink too.
Like he's gonna stink, or what we're eating?
Yeah, well, he's primal, right?
Yeah. No deodorant, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's funny. Okay,
so many questions about that, but okay.
Yeah.
This is it's
chili.
Not. We kind of back to chili.
Chili. Hey, so you said it's meat based. Is there non-meat based?
Like, so that's a funny thing. A lot of folks, especially around here, I can't tell you how many times I've heard, "No beans? That's not chili." No, it's a Texas style, so it's just all meat. No beans, no fillers. So if you're into the keto thing,
so you're getting a lot of protein out of that bad boy, huh?
Absolutely, yeah.
Very high so it is low carb, huh? Because
low carb, yep.
So you got tomatoes and
tomatoes would be in terms of sugars we're introducing. Really, tomatoes would be it, and then the broth. The very last ingredient is cane sugar, but we're talking trace at that point.
Yeah.
Wow. So what kind of meat do you guys use?
We use a ground beef, and then we actually, no secret about it, but I typically don't lead with the fact that we grind bacon and put it in there. And the reason being is when I was originally competing, I would smoke briskets, and we'd chop up the briskets and then put that in with some ground beef. And it's the hickory smoke that really just kind of sets it off. Yeah. And so, and I make no secret of it. In fact, like I said, we give away our recipe. But what we do is we grind bacon, because we don't want it to be like bacon chili. It's not meant to be a gimmick. It's meant to be just a way of getting that natural hickory smoke in there without running a smoker. So it's a convenient way of doing that.
That's pretty cool. So now, do you source your beef locally, or where do you get your beef?
Gotta say Costco. I would love to find in fact, I got a couple folks I'd like to chat with, see what we could get on ground beef prices. We go through so much meat, so much beef that at the end of the day, an extra $1 a pound really adds up. And so, Costco, we do a very lean beef, and so they've really fit the bill on that one. So I'm very appreciative that they do, because it's such an expensive product to make that you really need to figure out how you're going to bring some of those ingredient costs down.
Yeah.
How much beef do you go through?
Oh boy, it depends on event season or not. I mean, really, 100 pounds a week is pretty common, but in event seasons we can really scale up from there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Holy moly.
Man, we should. I don't know if it'd be affordable or not, but I'd be interested to see if Jason Hanley could provide some ground beef for that.
We did a podcast with him recently. Acme Acres are up in Spirit Lake.
Okay.
That's where we're getting our cow from.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to chat with them. I'm really, at the end of the day, as long as it's a USDA approved source and
I don't know.
Yeah, and then ultimately I'm looking for lean beef because because it's an all meat product, and even with the bacon, what we do is we're really careful about how much fat winds up in there because we don't want to have a bunch of grease on top.
Yeah.
So like the bacon, actually, we grind it, and the very first thing we do is render out all the fat. We dump, all the fat there. We just kind of keep the meat from that.
How do you separate the fat and everything else?
You render it out, so you cook it at a low heat. That fat's just going to come out, just like if you're cooking bacon at home. You're rendering the fat out. We're taking care not to crisp it up, but we're doing, each batch has a 5-pound portion of bacon in it. So from that we're separating the grease, and then
I would say his beef is definitely going to be lean because it's grass fed, grass finished.
Yep.
And I know that's where a lot of that fat comes from.
Well, and I'm sure he has it. Yeah. At the end of the day,
I don't know if the price will work out though for the volume you're doing. That'd be the question.
Yeah.
And reliability, and would love to talk to him. And like I said, I'm looking for sources because it would be a nice thing just to plug a little bit deeper into the community. Quite frankly, I mean we have some great resources around here.
Right.
I just haven't got that far yet.
Now, it sounds like when you're talking about 5-pound batches of bacon and stuff at a time, like there's almost a limit to how much you can make. Is there, based off of how you guys obviously monitor everything that you're putting into this stuff, and there's nobody's been able to recreate what you do, is there opportunity for expansion? Are you guys kind of limited to kind of just a mom and pop location?
So when I created the concept, my goal was to really make it something. I can't say this with a straight face, but my dream was fast food when we were kids, that you could get some bright kids to go in there and work the kitchen, and out comes your food. So it's actually my operation is really set up to be replicated. Everything we do highly reproducible. I laugh about the kids part though, because finding kids that want to work, finding kids that care to show up, or people in general, I would say staffing has been the hardest part of it. We have some great staff. I'm somebody who just really, the staff are an extension of family. So we have some very close relationships. My son now manages the place, my oldest son.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's great to have him to rely on. But yeah, the plan is that, everything we do is highly process bound. Really the biggest thing that can go wrong is messing up the spices. And that's something that I take care of, and, we mix and we portion out. Beyond that, though, there's a process with rendering the bacon. There's a process with how we, combine it with the meat and cook down the green peppers and the onions, and it's super simple, really.
Now, is this how long of a process does it take for you to make a bowl of chili? Is this a couple-day process where you're doing stuff, or are you constantly just like prepping for a couple days ahead of time? Is that what it is?
Yeah. So, people here, we were chatting about this earlier about second day chili. I don't know if you've ever heard this. It's a lot of people, second day chili is the best. And this is true. And the reason being is because those flavors have had time to kind of meld, and everything just, kind of works together. It combines, the flavors combine so much better. But what we do is we're constantly producing chili. Rarely are you going to have chili that we just produced. Typically what we're doing is we're producing chili, and then we immediately cool it, and then we're reheating as we need it. And so more often than not, when you come in, you're going to get something that it's the second day chili, to use that term again, but it's the more mellowed product. In fact, the samples I brought you are something we just did fresh, so it's you're gonna taste something that is still very good, but the flavors just haven't kind of permeated the way they will on
we
the
taste
second
it?
day stuff.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah,
It's right
absolutely. Whatever you guys would like.
Let's go.
I want to try it.
I know.
Yeah.
Now I'm like really excited about it.
Well, I'm actually wishing I had somebody delivered just now, so it'd be hotter for you.
Oh,
But,
that's okay. The
but,
flavor is
yeah.
what I'm
Yeah.
after. All right.
I'm interested. Let's try this.
Let's do it.
So yeah, as you're doing that, what I will say is going.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, spice up. So, very transparent. That's everything that goes into it. This allows you to make a small batch at home. Makes about 2.5 quarts.
Hickory smoked bacon, ground beef, yellow onion, white onion, crushed tomato, chilies, beef broth. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
And that's all in here?
No. That's your
No,
shopping
that's your
list.
shopping list. Okay, sorry.
This is the seasoning, and you hit the QR code. There's a video that walks you right through it.
Dude, that is super cool.
This is our prototype packaging here. We actually have some fancier packaging that we're about to release next month.
Literally says learn our secrets. That is awesome.
Yeah.
a good model.
The goal is for you to be able to make the same thing at home. I think one of the things when I set out to do the spices, I think that makes us a little bit different is most of the time you buy chili seasoning and it's try it with beans or try it with beef or whatever and make it your own. We've taken a different approach. We say here is what we produce, make our chili that we've actually won competitions with.
That's crazy.
It smells
How many competitions have you done? Like hundreds, a few?
No, like 6 directly. And then we've had some folks that we've sponsored. Like one of the primary drivers of the spices were guys going, my church chili competition is next week. So we have a whole bunch of those under our belt.
What
too.
church?
No, guys that just come up.
Oh,
and they're
okay.
Like, my church chili competition is this week, and they're buying our spices to go compete.
Oh, okay.
So,
It's
yeah.
like, dude, that's really good. Dave likes to chew with his mouth open because he believes that it enhances the flavor. So please give us some of that.
Very good.
The listeners would love that.
Dude,
Very good.
I like it.
this is really good.
Thank you.
Holy smokes.
Trying to make a business on it.
Dude,
Yeah.
so it's funny. I do chili at home.
Oh man,
Doesn't taste this good.
no.
But I've always done the beans. Like I've always been like, oh, throwing beans and everything else. Like I've always been
you're part Mexican, bro.
okay. So I've always been nervous to make like an all meat chili because I just don't know how to do it. But this is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
There's tips. So the one difference when we used to compete or when I used to compete was, like I said, I'd smoke a brisket. And we just don't operate smokers where we're at. It's an operation. I'd love to do it someday, but it becomes a different business at that point. But if you smoke meat, or if you're into smoking meats, we have some tips for how you smoke a brisket and throw it in there. Because we use lean meat, it goes great with game as well. So
I was going to ask that.
yeah.
There's
I've
so
done
many
it with
good game options.
bison, venison, elk, and if you're really into it, some game you could really spot the flavor, but frankly, there's so much flavor in the rest of the ingredients that you often wouldn't know you're eating.
It is super, super flavorful.
Thank you.
Not hot.
Yep.
Yep.
Six chili peppers though, right?
Dude, not hot.
That's
Because
like
my
the best chili I've ever had, honestly, dude. Yeah.
Thank you.
my family, a bunch of weenies. They don't like it when I make things hot. That's why I usually try to
Right,
burn their
right.
faces off too. I think it's a lot of fun. I'll drop in an extra couple jalapenos and like, let's go. But
So mean.
There's a time and a
they would
place
love
for that.
yeah. It's anytime I make chili.
Well, okay.
No, but this is really good. They would love this.
Yep.
So this gets even better on the second day, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, it really is. We're right now. I'm coming out with the product. I guess breaking news here.
Oh yeah.
Let's go.
Like I said, I mean, this is we call it our competition spice dump because really this is what I would use and the stuff that I competed with, and it's worked well for us. But for folks that don't want to deal with bacon or don't want to deal with smoking meats, I'm coming out with a product that has hickory smoke powder. The flavor, it's actual hickory smoke powder in the product, it's. By my measure, not quite as good, but excellent. And that's one that also gets better on the second day because that hickory smoke just kind of permeates everything. So
Okay, so you would, in theory, buy the stuff on the shopping list.
Yep.
This whole thing goes in with,
Yep.
and then boom, you got your chili right there.
2.5
I am
quarts. Yep.
100% taking my family over here to get some.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can't wait to see
yeah,
it.
well, and that's the other question. I don't have a lot of time, right? I do cook, but someone can come in and buy dinner's worth amount. You guys sell like a larger container of chili if somebody wanted to come in and buy that?
The quarts are our largest one. We sell it by the quart. We also do, we call them cold quarts, just travels better. So like I said, we chill everything immediately.
Yep.
And so for a lot of folks that come in, we see it a lot. They want to do chili dogs or chili potatoes or something at home. So they'll come in and buy a quart or two for their family.
This is going to be, I think you need to make this air ahead of time, dude, because this is going to be great at the event.
It's so good at the event, yeah.
This is awesome.
I'll try. It comes down to the editor.
Holy smokes.
Rough cost on this. I know that can change with ingredients, but
$30 a quart.
okay, yeah, dude.
And you know what I want people to be able to afford the product.
Yep.
With that said, as you guys can attest, it's all meat.
It's all meat.
You're getting a bite full of meat there. So
oh yeah, there's no way I could eat this whole thing by myself. No way.
Right.
No way.
I could. I'm so hungry.
There's more.
Yeah.
Nate
And you know it's not
Schaefer-
carby too. So the other thing is you don't get a carb crash.
Right.
You don't actually. Oddly enough, you can eat a good portion of that, and you're not going to feel weighted down.
Yeah,
You know?
I eat generally low carb all the time. This would be a perfect meal for me.
Nate Schaefer keeps cutting my carbs, dude, and I feel like I'm going to die. And so I'm like, I could eat that
You
whole
look great,
thing,
though.
dude. Thank you. Yes.
We're going on a cruise in March with our families, not just the two of us. And
Renee was like, I want you to look like Seth.
wow,
I'm kidding.
It happened. Okay.
we got to keep up with our teenage boys. We both have 16-year-olds, and they're ripped.
You know what? We don't
Crazy.
need to keep up with them because when they talk crap, we will beat the shit out of them if we need
true.
to.
We do
100%.
have that. We do have that in our back pocket.
Yeah, I got a
Dad
couple
strength.
brutes. When they were younger, I remember, I used to wrestle and they were getting into wrestling and I'd wrestle, one of them and I could throw them around, and one day I said, tell you what, I'll take you both. And they laid me out so quick.
That was the moment.
I'm actually proud to admit that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the moment. I'm like,
Those
my
are the
boys
only-
are becoming men.
Those are the only men that you should be okay getting your ass kicked by. Like when my son
fair.
can
This
beat
is
me,
fair.
I'm like, you know what, I'm okay with it. He beats me, I'm not okay with it.
I'm gonna be proud when my son whoops me finally.
But yeah, I mean,
I'll be
it's still,
80. I'll be in a wheelchair,
and they
but
start,
maybe.
yeah, they start pushing on us so much lately.
Oh, yeah.
And like Carson just deadlifted 365
Oh,
the other day.
wow.
He weighs 155 pounds.
Oh, wow.
insane.
I told him I'm deadlifting. I'm probably like low fours.
Right.
And this week I'm like, I carb load on Friday. I'm going to go hit 465 on Friday because I have to stay 100 pounds ahead of this kid. So I'm like, I'm going to rip my arms off this week. I'm
You're
going.
gonna rip your arms off
Let's
and you're gonna
go.
herniated disc. I told
Nah,
you
man.
I'll wheel you around in a wheelchair,
What
buddy.
discs
it's fine.
are for?
It's gonna
Okay.
be herniated. Yes.
Gosh, dude. But yeah, it is fun, and that is true. Like when your kids can finally beat you at something, especially if you raised them right, like that. That's actually a cool thing.
Boy, you just said especially if you've raised them right. I mean,
Right.
when you're like you're proud of that moment. My youngest, he ran the LA Marathon in 8th grade, and it was super into Ninja Warrior, and so I mean the kid
awesome.
was kind of freakish to watch it when he was in 8th grade. It was like you're he was so cut, but. We used to wrestle, and there was this moment, though. He always wanted to box, and so we put on the boxing gloves, and, you give him a little tap and just, wake him up. Well, he started landing these punches, which was good until I could see that in his eyes where he's just looking for his moment. And I'm thinking, this kid's going to knock his dad out, and that's not going to be good for anybody.
No.
And all he needed was that one. And so
You could get lucky, right? Yeah.
With that said, though, very proud of him, and it was a cool thing, and I was happy to go. You know what, son? I don't know that we have much boxing in our future.
Yeah.
At this point.
That's funny, dude. We're getting there with our boys,
I
and
know.
It comes.
Yeah.
It comes.
it's just like it's funny when you start rolling around with them. I mean, I always tell them, I go, the difference between a rolling in jiu-jitsu with a white belt versus a black belt, and Seth, you can attest to this if you'd like, is that a white belt can be really dangerous, right? Because they don't necessarily have the control. There's all this tension and this muscle, and they're just moving fast. Whereas you roll with a black belt, you can find yourself where it's more of like a dance, right? And they take care of you. A good black belt will take care of you in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And I feel like that with our kids. I'm not a black belt. I've done very little jiu-jitsu compared to like what Seth has done. But when I roll with them, I try to take care of them. I'm getting to the point where I'm like, I need to hurt you a couple times so that we have an understanding where we're at.
Yeah.
What I did with I rolled with your boy not that long ago. I just laid on top of him and crushed the life out of him. And that's the easy way to hurt somebody without hurting them, right? You just like, you watch the soul leave the eyes and you're like, all right, I've accomplished what I came here to accomplish. Anything else is fair game. Have fun, buddy. Yeah. That's the key.
It is fun. I've rolled with.
What you came to accomplish, establish dominance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Actually, I roll with my boy's been talking shit for weeks now, and I roll with him too. And he was like, "All right, you're still the alpha male of the house." And I was like, "Okay."
And then you don't do it again for a long time because one, you don't want them to know when they finally caught up to you, but two, you're hoping that lesson learned is going to last a decade or so, right?
But it is neat, man. I know that I've tapped brown belts and stuff like that before, and I know that it wasn't because I was better than them. I know that it was because they allowed the setup and they made me struggle, right? Like, I'm tired, but they allowed me to get in there and feel what it's like to get somebody in that spot and everything else. And that's the cool thing about that with your kids, is you can kind of play that game with them and get them to that point where their confidence starts building. They get the feel of what it is, and then just eventually you just have to be careful when they're doing it on their own.
Yep.
I don't know.
It's the classic father and the cub or parent and the cub, throughout the wild kingdom. And that is, showing them their limits and letting them know that they're still not the alpha. And then, like I said, when they're approaching it.
Well, he knows how dirty I can be. Yesterday, he comes up and tries to choke me from behind. And obviously, I'm like, really? So he leans his head over. So what do, I reach up and grab the back of his hair and start pulling it over his head. Dad. And I'm like, don't. I will play dirty if you're going to do that.
Fair enough.
Yeah. He's too afraid to play dirty.
But not to hurt him. And that's the key.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe.
Right.
Aaron, this was phenomenal chili.
Yes,
Thank you.
Dude, seriously. I'm glad to know we have an eating option so close by, too. I usually grab like barbecue or something just for the meat at lunch because I got a lot of carbs. Right. But now I'm like, boom, like pop over
we
there.
We should do a brokerage field trip. Wait, our brokerage now is right across the street from you. So Hanley and 95, the Experience Northwest over there. We should do a little lunch field trip one day across the street because that is awesome.
I'd love to. We could also bring it in. We cater and we we cater in a couple ways. We can come and serve, or for a lot of folks, we just kind of arrange a buffet for them, come and set it up and have it at your own pace.
It'd be fun. We need to get out of that office. We can walk across the street.
Yeah, I'm not walking across 95.
And we were chatting about the mall, for folks that are not from here, you may not know, but the mall has gone through its phases and, the Black Sheep crowd have been great for it. I think most people don't realize the nice part is, like I said, especially on these winters, it's plenty of space. It's warm. You can come and congregate. There's food. And so I think, especially when it gets cold out, and especially if you're close, it's a fine place to go hang out. It's a
feel. I mean, they've really done a lot for that. It's not all Bath and Body Works. They have that in there. They have a couple chain stores, but for the most part, it's really a local place. I mean, they've turned in the Carhartt, the 511, the water store, the Yeti store, the knife store over there. I mean, they have all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, I refer to it as a North Idaho lifestyle store or lifestyle mall because it's really what it is. I mean, all the things that you would want and need here, for the most part, I mean, you have it under one roof at that mall. So pretty cool. It's different. I'm not aware of anything quite like that anywhere else.
Right. Yeah, my father-in-law was in town this weekend from out of state and took him in there to buy some ammo. And he was like, oh my God.
Pallets.
No limit. You can buy whatever you want. It's like, whoa.
They're actually trying to get you to buy it because they got so much.
Right. That's good living right there.
Cool.
I'm kind of curious if I ask you a question.
Sure.
So, in the chili business, I got to tell you, everybody has an idea of what chili is or what it should be. And I often say, if you're having a cheeseburger, you kind of got I can tell everybody, we sell cheeseburgers, and you're like, oh yeah, got a bun and some beef and cheese. Chili, though, everybody has an idea of what it should be. This is the way my dad did it, or, the best I ever had was here or there. What did you expect, and how was this different? I'm just kind of curious your thoughts on this.
My experience with chili growing up is it came out of a can, and it was...
Yeah, right.
And it had, kidney beans in it maybe or something like a
kidney beans,
bean.
white beans, stuff like that.
And not good.
Right. Okay.
So, this, it looks different. It looks more like a meat marinara sauce, right?
Yeah,
there's no beans in it. But the flavor is way better.
I always, when I think of chili, I think of heat.
Yeah.
Right. And then I think, honestly, a lot more watery than this because a lot of them have had our beans and everything else. There's just a lot of space in there.
Right.
And not as much meat for sure.
Right.
Not as much meat at all. So You know, a little bit of ground beef or ground turkey is the way that I've always done mine, and it's decent, but it's, you know, it's Lowry's chili seasoning packs.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I throw in a few different things and peppers and stuff like that. But, and it always has flavor.
Yeah.
But this one is so smooth where I feel like when I eat the other chilies, I get a bite of one thing and I'm, you know, as I'm eating it, I taste one thing and then I taste something else. This one was just like clean
You get some
across the board.
beans or
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
one was like every bite was the same flavor. It was good.
Yeah. So I think visually it looks different to me.
Yeah.
And obviously it tastes better than like anything I've made or bought or my parents made in a can. So yeah, pretty amazing.
I appreciate you sharing that because I like I said, most people, and it's something that just occurred to me doing this. So I have a lot of people. I don't like chili. I don't eat chili, or chili's too hot, and it's. And the funny thing is, I'm like, oh yeah, you haven't tried this chili.
do you give away free samples?
Samples have made the business.
I would guess, right? Because of those people that come up and they're like, I don't know, and you're like, no, just like try it.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I will
cool,
tell
yeah.
you, anytime that we do an event that you want to participate in, especially our LEO events and stuff like that,
Yep.
anytime you want to participate, let us know, and we'll keep you in contact because I would love to have this around, even if it is just bringing in stuff for people to sample, because this is great.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very proud to sponsor the Leo event you have coming up, and you know, glad that you're using it for your corporate event as well. And we're always looking for opportunities.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, thank you very much.
Well, you're local, man. We're here to support you. That's what we love to
appreciate
do.
Yeah, thanks, sir. All right, let's call it. Aaron Sierra Ranch Chili. It's been a pleasure.
My pleasure.
Catch
Thank
you next
you.
time.
Thank you.